how to basically deal with injuries, both from the physical aspect, but then also from the mental aspect, which I think a lot of people don't talk about. All right, what is up, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are out here in Central Park. As you can see, nice, beautiful fall foliage, sitting out here and chilling on a bench. And I figured I'd talk to you about a pretty relevant topic that happened very recently. Which I'll get to in a second. It involves pain and injury and happened very, very recently. So yesterday, I was just doing a normal workout. Actually, not really normal workout. I kickstarted a new program which involved a little bit of mobility and just some different strength stuff that I was not used to. And so I did some pike handstands, and I was doing some sort of like shrug, shoulder blade movement. Felt something in my neck and didn't really think much of it. And so kept pushing. I was like, okay, this is a new movement for me, so I didn't really think of it as much. And my neck started getting irritated. But then, like I said, new movement. I expected things to just not feel normal. And so I kept going, did my next exercise, the barbell overhead press. And then after that, my neck and upper back was starting to burn. But then I was like, okay, I'm done working these muscles pretty much for the rest of the workout. I'll just continue pushing through and finish up my workout. And so I ended up finishing the rest of my workout just fine. And then my neck started tightening up. And then throughout the day, it got progressively worse until literally later that evening, I could not move my neck. And it's a little bit better now, but I still cannot move my neck back too much or rotate too much without it suddenly getting a sudden jolt of pain. And today I want to talk about how to basically deal with injuries, both from the physical aspect, but then also from the mental aspect, which I think a lot of people don't talk about, is that just getting injured, there's a huge mental side of it that you have to overcome. And I would even argue that it's harder than the physical aspect side of it. And yeah, just an update. I tried to sleep, and obviously just going to bed too, the action of getting down and back up into the bed, it activates some of those neck stabilizers muscles, and it just does not feel good. I just get a sudden jolt of pain, and of course that meant that I couldn't really turn or flip around or really move much in bed, and that just absolutely sucked. So I didn't sleep well. Every time that I would move in bed, all of a sudden I would get a sudden jolt of pain, and I would wake up, and when I woke up, I had a hard time trying to fall back asleep. And so sleeping was such a struggle, so I had a shitty night of sleep. And yeah, and then just a couple of other unfortunate events as well with business. And then also I think I lost my wallet too. I recently discovered that this morning. So just a combination of a different bunch of events. It absolutely sucked. So yeah, so there's that. But this morning, fortunately, I'm currently going to PT for my shoulder, which has been doing much, much better. So went to my PT session as normal, updated my physical therapist, and told him basically what happened, what has been going on. And he told me, yeah, nothing too serious. It's just a lot of the muscles here are basically guarded, and that's what's causing the pain. That's what's causing the restriction of movement. And it's just a matter of rest and recovery, and giving myself a couple of days to recover and get better, and eventually be able to get back into lifting and my normal routine. And so we did some temporary measures. Obviously it just happened yesterday, so there's not much that he can do. So he did a little bit of massage and just traction, where he kind of pulls the muscles apart. And then we also did some cupping as well. I'll show you a little picture of what my neck looks like post that. Just a little bit of bruising, which is normal with cupping, and heals up pretty quickly. Doesn't have any after effects. I mean, if anything, the skin on top feels a little bit tender, but I felt some immediate relief after doing that. But then my neck it's still pretty restricted. I actually have, you can see, a little bit of trouble trying to raise my head. I actually have trouble raising my glass to drink water. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So at this point I'm just kind of waiting it out, and I still have to continue work as usual. And yeah, that's pretty much an update. And then as far as how I'm going to pivot my training and sort of deal with training at this point, which I think it's something worth considering, because if you ever get injured, which this is my philosophy of injury, I think you can do whatever you can think it's just a normal part of being human that you're gonna get injured at some point or another in your life. It's just, yeah, it's just a simple fact of living life. Unless you're a severely lucky individual, you will get injured at some point in your lifting career, or even if you don't lift or exercise, people get injured all the time, right? If anything, your chances of injury are even higher, and then your recovery rate from injury is even slower and harder than if you were someone in shape. So, if anything, I think should be a motivating factor for you to get into lifting and get into regular exercise if you aren't already doing that. And if you are someone who's regularly active, don't expect that your body will, always be healthy, always be optimally 100% functioning. Things are just gonna happen. Shit happens in life, and that's a simple fact and thing that we gotta accept. But it's about your ability to really pivot in those situations and be able to modify your program, overcome these obstacles, and eventually get yourself back to 100% or as close to 100%, and then keep pushing and improving upon from there. So how I'm basically going to pivot my training, so and also I can kind of come at this from two sides of the equation. So there's a part of me where I was supposed to work out today, but then I don't know if you felt that jolt, but that jolt was literally just my shoulder just like kind of giving out as my trap was just like suddenly jolted. But anyways, I can come at this in two ways. So there's one way where I feel a little bit of this right now, where I am in a consistent routine. I am getting after it in lifting with my fitness and nutrition and all that. And there's a part of me where I want to keep going. So there's a part of me that I wanted to go into the gym and lift today because I was supposed to work out today, and I felt that if I didn't work out, I would lose all my progress. And even though I have been doing this for several years now, there's still a part of me that feels like, oh, I need to be 100% consistent, and if I don't show up, I don't want to lose this momentum and lose my consistency and lose all my progress that I've worked so hard to build so far. And yeah, and that's part of it too. So it's like calming that part of myself down. We're like, hey, it's totally fine if you miss a week of lifting and exercise, Austin. And even though I know this will just take a few days, like theoretically, I could take the week off and nothing would happen to my progress. And just knowing that you can take extended periods of time, not super extended, but like extended periods of time, and realize that, hey, you're not going to lose your progress. Everything that you've worked so hard to build in terms of like muscle, weight loss, as long as you don't stop working out for months and you don't let your diet go off track for months, you're not going to lose all the progress that you've made so far. And as long as you get right back on track, you'll be fine. And then of course, with that end of the spectrum, there's also the other end of the spectrum where, I am not motivated to work out, and this is very demotivating for me. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, just fuck it. I didn't work out. I can't work out today, so I wanted to just eat like shit, and I wanted to let everything else, and I didn't want to move, and I just felt very depressed and very down. So obviously, I didn't want to be outside. I didn't want to go on a walk. I didn't want to exercise because part of me is like, oh, what's the point? I'm injured. I'm using that as an excuse to not do anything else, when theoretically, I have two good pair of legs to walk, and I can still function. I can still hold my head like this. I'm still able to cook and prep food and eat healthy and still make sound decisions with my head, right? So it's really about finding that balance within yourself to really be like, okay, I shouldn't go and push myself too hard or expect too much of myself, and then I might burn out, I might re-injure myself. But on the other hand, I can't let those become too much of an excuse where I just ditch everything else altogether. And, even though there are clearly things that I can control, I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, I can't control anything. And then, I let my diet go to shit for the entire week, and then that turns into 2 weeks, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I don't want to move. And meanwhile, I can still, get my steps in. I can still do my cardio. I can still remain physically active. And I know that just by doing a little bit of that, I'm going to feel much, much better because I'm at least somewhat keeping the momentum. I'm also getting outside, getting some fresh air, moving my body, getting some good blood flow on that end. So yeah, that's just basically trying to find that balance, when you're within yourself. And just know that that also is going to take time. Like, you're not going to figure that out right away. You might find that you give up and go too far on one end, or you might find that you push yourself a bit too hard and you try to get back in the swing of things immediately. And so it's really about finding that balance, and it's taken me years to find that balance, and then I'm still continuing to find that balance for myself. So just know that it will take time for you to figure that out, and then, you know, it's an ever ongoing and evolving process. So know that you're not going to figure that out overnight. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for me for this episode. I know it's not as exciting as me walking through New York City with Empire State of Mind and the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building and everything else blasting and like running around the city. But just a quick little chat and update into my life and what's been going on. And this week, I doubt I'll be able to get a really nice active vlog for you, but hopefully this helps you to the at the very least with something going on in your fitness journey. Maybe you recently injured yourself, maybe you have dealt with injury in the past and you've gone either too far in one direction, but hopefully this helps. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Peace out. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the, you know, cliche social stuff that you got to do to help me out and help this channel grow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace out, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.